What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Miles of Horror, your channel for all things horror, physical media, and indie cult cinema. And as always, the only channel that's gonna make you scream. So, what a special show we have for tonight. I'm honored, truly. And apparently I just learned that this is the very first interview that A&P Films is doing post Only Fangs. So I have Angie and Paul from A&P Films here. So, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Thank you guys for being here. How are things going? I know you guys are done. The movie's out as far as I'm concerned, right? It's to my understanding to backers, right? And there's a digital way to watch this, right?
Yes, right now, everyone who backed the Indiegogo got their digital downloads, and so we made it available for anyone who was not able to get it as well in the interim while we work on the physical media release, which has been going really well. People have been buying the digital link, so it's really awesome.
Yeah. I'm seeing people post about it everywhere.
Yeah, they're getting some reviews out there. People have just been hitting us with so many great messages and positive feedback, and they're just like, man, I love it. I've watched it 4 or 5 times already. So it's like, it's such a great feeling.
It's awesome. Yeah, I've only watched it once, but I can promise you I will definitely be watching it again in the very near future. And so, I guess, a lot of this of getting it out there is word of mouth for you guys, right? Like it's all, hearsay and what she said, he said, and, it's kind of how you guys roll with the indie horror vibe, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's all word of mouth. It's all the audience or the support and the friends and fans that we've built up over the years, supporting us, and then in turn posting it on their social media, and then people want to see what it's all about. I've had several friends who are supporters of the movie say, hey man, I got you 3 more people. I got 4 more people that I told to go watch this movie. So yeah, it's all word of mouth, and so appreciative for the fans, the friends, supporters spreading the word.
Yeah, man. And I can tell you right now, just in the brief, maybe year I've known you guys, whatever, I meet a lot of indie directors and everyone's super cool. And I think the indie scene's a great vibe, but you two, I don't know who I'm always talking to, which one of you it is, but like you guys have been so friendly and kind and receptive to me as a fan. And I remember when you sent me the murder size clam, which was my everything. So thank you for that. And, as a fan, like, these are things I'm going to remember. Like, when you guys explode, because it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. As a fan, I'm going to remember this, so I appreciate that.
Aww.
Oh, man, it's very humbling to have people like you just hit us up and show support. So we are so grateful for every little bit of support that we get.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for that. So, you guys are building up quite a, discography at this point. It's your 5th film, right?
Yeah, 5th. We had 2 other features, so technically it's like our 7th, but it's the 5th one that's like within this horror genre.
Horror.
Yeah. So, if I'm not mistaken, we have Only Fangs, right? That's the newest movie we're going to get into in just a little while.
Yeah.
We have Murder Size, which is how I discovered you guys, right?
Yeah.
And we have slash Lorette Party.
Mm-hmm.
We have Streets of Vengeance, and we have Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
Awesome. So I have everything but Cinco de Mayo. I have these clamshell VHS.
Whoa.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
This is like my vibe. And so we'll talk later about how to get these things as far as physical media releases are concerned. But these are all available for you guys to discover and pick up or watch digitally if that's your vibe. So 5 films, and they're all fantastic. But all right, so tell us a little bit about you guys, about A&P. Give us a little introduction about who you guys are, what you do, etc.
Yeah. So we're a couple. We're from Central California. We met in film school. So I met her and fell in love, and we became a couple. And we started like our own, like just couple stuff, just moving on our own, getting jobs, things like that. And it wasn't until like maybe 10 years, and then we started working together making films. Because after film school, like I said, we had to get jobs and stuff like that and everything.
Adults.
Yeah. So I wanted to pick it back up again. And I was trying to do that with a couple of friends back from the college days, and it just wasn't really working. So we decided just us to do it together. and then
Oh,
that's why we started Cinco de Mayo, and we hit it really big with this horror in '80s indie horror scene that we've been involved with for quite a long time, and it's just been really successful for us to make our art and get our stories out there.
I love that, and it's really cool to hear your backstory. How it was a film school, kind of
Yeah.
match made in heaven.
Yeah.
So like you guys really started from the ground up together, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Which is super cool. So I love that. I think that's a wonderful story, and there's got to be some a really in like a wonderful connection between the two of you. Not just that you're married and you've the kids and whatever, but did I hear that right, kids?
No kids.
No,
No
okay, no,
kids.
kids. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I heard littles. No, okay.
Our dogs are our kids.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Our dogs are our kids.
Dogs. There you go. Okay. But there has to be this wonderful connection between you two that you get to do this together, right? Like when you're on set, long nights, that bond that has to be there, not just from your marriage, but from these these long nights together,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you want to
or
be on that
being
break?
in a relationship, whatever it is.
Yeah, actually, we're best friends. I think that's the only way we'd be able to survive this. But we don't get sick of each other. I think a lot of people ask that, assuming that at some point we're butting heads or
Mhm.
just getting sick of each other, but we actually don't. We have a very similar sense of humor. We have a very similar sense of ambition and goals and wanting to accomplish things, work ethic. A lot of our characteristics are in alignment. I think
Yeah.
the thing that so at this point we kind of have like our own kind of like you would with your best friend. You have your inside jokes and your own shorthand language of
Mhm.
things that make you laugh, and we have that same sense of humor, so it really works for us. I think the only difference in our personalities is that he's huge into horror and has the backstory and the memories of all the movies and the directors, and I don't.
Right.
I didn't watch horror growing up. I wasn't allowed to. My parents were pretty strict, so no horror movies in our house. And also, even if I was allowed, I probably wouldn't have watched them because I'm a big chicken. So I was watching all the like girly Disney, Steven Spielberg, those kind of family friendly things. And it's that makes our story writing, I think, a little bit different from what you would normally see in the
Oh
indie
yeah.
horror, because I'm bringing my non-horror brain to our stories and morphing them in a funky way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean that's even cooler, right? So you guys have different like upbringing as far as horror is concerned. Paul seems like you were a big horror fan growing up, and
Oh
Andrew
yeah.
like had a totally different vibe. But yet here you are together, right? Like a match made in heaven, doing your thing. So I think that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So I want to tell you guys a little bit. Also, we have a couple people in the chat here with us live. So thank you guys for being here. Feel free to drop some comments. If you have any questions for Angie and Paul, definitely let us know in the comments and we'll highlight them, etc. Don't hesitate to do that. But so let me break it down for you guys how I discovered you and how we kind of connected. I don't know who it was that I was speaking to, but I have a big love for Jessa Flux. And yeah, I discovered her through a number of different movies that she did. Just a few different things that I discovered through the grapevine, and in searching out her entire kind of discography, because I'm one of those people that, like, if I like an actress or whatever, I'm gonna like actively go seek out, yada yada. And so I was looking to get like every single movie she had on film for whatever. I just needed it. I was like, she's so captivating to me as an actress. I was like, I needed everything. So I discovered Murder Size, and I was like, this looks pretty rad. How do I get it? And then I guess it took me to your Etsy page, and I'd message. Who was I talking to? Is it you, Paul?
Yeah.
Okay. So I messaged you about, I guess, the possibility of getting the VHS. I don't think you had it in stock at the moment.
Right.
And you were like, don't worry about it. I can definitely help you out. Just what do you want, etc. And so that's kind of how we connected,
Yeah. Yeah. That was our last Murder Size VHS clamshell. So made that for you.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you guys, I'm spreading the love as well because I picked up the standard release, which is beautiful. It really was. And you had sent me the clamshell, so I sent the standard to one of my best friends, Jordan, so he can see the film himself. So I'm doing my part to spread the love as best I can.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Spreading the word.
Yeah. So we'll talk more about the Etsy shop and how to get those released, etc. But let's move on to some of the cover art that you guys have, because part of what drew me to Murder Size was Jessa, but it was also this absolutely rad 80s cover art. So I'll show you guys this right here.
Yeah.
Still my favorite. One of my favorites.
Yeah, it's awesome. So can you guys talk to me a little bit about the art? Do you have one artist that works on things, or is it more so like how do you guys go about that process?
The last several films we did, the poster artist was one artist that we've been collaborating with, Brutal Posters. So they've been doing our cover art, and then we already had it in the works for them to do the Only Fangs art. But I think there was something personal
came up. He wasn't able to do it.
Came up where he had to kind of like set his artwork aside for a little while, and he was really bummed because he really wanted to do the artwork for this, because we've already had a long-standing relationship, and we were like, hey, no problem, like do whatever you gotta do, and we'll still be here whenever you're ready to get back into it. And we had to kind of shift gears for Only Fangs and find a different poster artist.
Yeah, he's great too. Sadist art. Mark Schoenbach. Actually, I've been wanting to work with him for a while, so this was perfect opportunity because we love Brutal Posters. He did great Murder Size, Slasherette Party. He did the two teaser posters for Murder Size and Slasherette Party as well. And Only Fangs. So he just didn't get to do the official poster, which we have behind us right there. So that's Mark Schoenbach, Sadist art, and his poster work is great. I'm just so grateful for him because, like I said, Brutal Posters, he was supposed to do it, but something came up. So we're just glad that we got to work with another talented artist.
We've been lucky.
Yeah, so it's actually really funny you brought up Mark, because I know him personally as well.
Cool.
And so I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I'm a writer, and I have 2 books out and published, and it's middle grade horror fiction. It's kind of like a Goosebumps vibe.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That's kind of how I got into this journey on social media and all this. I was promoting my books, and that's kind of how this started. But I hired Mark to do the cover of my next series.
Oh, awesome.
And so it's actually funny. This is probably a year and a half ago at this point, and I think I'm having a similar issue as far as he can't commit to it right now, etc. So we've been in communication a little bit about it, but I actually hired him to do that at that point in time. So I totally understand, and he's unbelievably talented.
Yeah. He did a friend of our Drew Marvick's movie, Pool Party Massacre. He did his artwork. That's how I first discovered him, and then from there, I would see all the other artwork from the other indie horror filmmakers. So I was like, oh man, I got to get him to do artwork for us someday. And finally,
I got to see Pool Party Massacre also. By the way, I have it I've seen the artwork, and I've seen the physical release all over the place, and I just got to get my hands on it.
Yeah, it's on Tubi now, so you can definitely check it out. It was taken off for a while, but now it's back.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll check it out. I don't have Tubi, unfortunately, but I've seen it. The VHS is like around, so I gotta just grab a copy of it. But yeah, I mean, the cover art on all your films are wonderful. The cover art, again, like Paul mentioned, is behind us here for Only Fangs, and I just love the vibe. I think it's fantastic. So I think you guys nailed it out of the park. And I think when it comes to indie horror, maybe you guys can give me your thoughts, but it kind of takes you back to the tape store, right? Even though a tape isn't necessarily project number one, it's about getting the film out there, etc. But it's almost like, back at the tape store in the 90s or the late 80s, the whole goal was to reach an audience, right? And a lot of these things didn't have trailers, so they relied on that cover art. And I'm sure for you guys, in a lot of senses, it's a similar kind of thing,
Exactly. Because the way, if you haven't been on Tubi yet, I would strongly recommend it. It's obviously free.
I hear great things.
It feels like you're back in a video store. When I go onto Tubi and I see all the cover art and all the other filmmakers, they know that's how you get clicks. And we've been told that by several people personally. Like, well, I saw Slasherette Party on Amazon Prime and the poster looked cool, so I clicked on it to watch it, and it's pretty risk free because they already have their subscription or whatever, so they just play it. And the same with Tubi. It's like you can watch something for a couple of minutes and decide whether or not you want to stick with it or turn it off or switch to something else. But yeah, it's like a virtual video store now. At
I
least
was gonna say, isn't
that's
this
how
so
I see it.
interesting now? How we have that same process, but it's
Yep.
online now, right?
Oh
It's
yeah.
wild to me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a child of the '90s. I was born in '86, so like that is, you know, I was born in the tape store. We'd go every weekend. You
Mhm.
know, it was a big
Oh yeah.
vibe for me. Um, so anyway, yeah, so perfect. The cover art is wonderful, and I think it drawing a lot of people to your work. So
Yeah.
that is excellent. So let's take this thing a little bit further back, right? So Paul, you were a big horror fan growing up,
Mhm.
and you know your movies seem to be heavily influenced by a lot of these over the top, you know, campy slashers from the '70s, '80s, '90s. Something like a cheerleader camp or a slumber party massacre. And it seems like you guys show a ton of love to this subgenre in your films. So, you know, Paul, and I guess not really Angie because you didn't really watch too much, but maybe, you know, as you got older, some films that influence you. But you know, are these the films you guys kind of watched and loved growing up, or you know, where did your love for horror really come from?
I mean, it all started, of course, with the Universal horror, you know,
Oh, nice.
Wolfman, Creature, Frankenstein, as a little kid. And then as I got a little bit older, you know, then came the slashers, you know, Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, all that. And then as I got a little bit older, teenage, you know, I would watch all the tapes, you know, Night of the Demons, Ghoulies, Critters, you know, Monster
Yep.
Squad, all that stuff. And I always found myself going back to the more fun horror movies like Night of the Creeps, you know, or Monster Squad, like I just said. And then also just watching TV, watching USA Up All Night and the types of movies they would show on Rhonda Shear's show. Just really
Who's back,
captured my
by the way? I don't
imagination.
know. I don't know if
Yeah,
you have seen that, but she's like, she has a new. I think Up All Night is coming back, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's back. I think their first episode is coming up later this month, I guess, before Halloween.
Yeah,
They did
she revealed the movie they're showing. I forgot what it was. But anyway.
yeah, and they actually reached out to me about Murder Size. So we'll
Oh
see if
wow.
that gets on there. That'd be a dream come true because, like I said, that's what inspired me a lot. Is USA Up All Night. I mean, so much so that you know if you watch Cinco de Mayo and Streets of Vengeance, we have our own fake all night long, our own late night horror show called Night Long with Stacey Monroe. That's obviously inspired by Rhonda Shear. So yeah, I'm still stuck in that mind frame of late night TV and just over the top, like I said, over the top gore, over the top kills, and you know, sexy comedies, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome, and I'm so you know I'm my fingers are crossed for you guys that you can have that opportunity because you know that is like that's a big deal. It's a big
Yeah.
crossover, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to make that happen.
Yeah, so amazing. You know, again, fingers crossed for you guys. So are those your favorite horror movies? Like, what are your top favorite horror movies that you love?
I mean, it just that there have to be the ones that I saw as a kid. I mean, Halloween 4 was the first one in that franchise that I saw, so it had a huge impact on me. Night of the Demons had a huge impact. Night of the Creeps, Night of the Living Dead. You know, it's just a Monster Squad, Ghoulies 2, Critters 2. It's just all those movies. All those movies just made an impact as a kid, and like I felt like they were fun. You know, like yeah, they're gruesome, and, you know, and bloody, which is great, but there's a sense of fun to them, and so that's what I try to impart in all of our movies now that we do. It's like I don't want it to be super serious, you know. Like I love Hereditary, you know, I love, you know, Ari Aster movies and stuff like that, but you know, that's not really what I'm trying to do, and I don't really want to do that. So I want to make something that I would have saw as a kid. And I did see one review say that, you know, Only Fangs would have been perfect on all USA Up All Night. So
Oh
it's like,
yeah.
well, that's a win right there.
I mean, that has to feel great to see a comment like that.
Yes, it's like
Yes.
Yeah.
perfect.
Cool. Yeah, and I love that you guys are all about the fun. Even the movies you mentioned, right? Like even Halloween, the franchise isn't necessarily an over the top campy franchise, but Halloween 4, you know, Halloween '78 is more of a serious tone
Yeah,
and vibe. It has its moments, but Halloween 4 is definitely more of a fun vibe
yeah,
than '78, right? So even when
oh
you're going to franchise like Halloween, you appreciate 4, you know. So I like that a lot.
yeah,
Also, we were kids in the '90s as well, so all the big movies that were huge at the time, we were huge fans of.
oh
So
yeah.
we're both big fans of the Ninja Turtle movies and the Ghostbuster movies, and
RoboCop,
yeah, RoboCop and all those
Terminator.
crazy over the top
Oh
movies.
yeah.
So we try to kind of add those elements of something that's kind of scary, but not super scary. And it's mostly just goofy and fun. And there's a lot of comedy. It's just over the top and ridiculous. And something that you could just go back to over and over because it's just a fun time.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, I love Quentin Tarantino. You know, he was a big impact on me in the '90s with Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, and From Dusk to Dawn with him and Robert Rodriguez. So all those movies that aren't specifically horror, they still had an impact on us growing up, and we put that into our filmmaking as well. So yeah, a lot of non-horror, you know, is something that still seeps into our
We kind of
our
pick
films.
all these little elements of things that we grew up with, whether it's like comedy, over the top, fun, nostalgia, and then obviously as we got older, we liked the movies like Dusk Till Dawn that had the sexy element, and it's like, oh wow, that Salma Hayek scene is everything. It's like permanently embedded in everyone's memories. So
Right.
I mean, those things stick out to us, and we're like, oh, we want to do something like that as well, where people can have those scenes that they'll go back to and be like, that was crazy.
Who was it that said if we had fuck you money, they could see us making a movie like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Was it Low or something? It was someone said that. Like they had seen it for the very first time. They were a little bit younger than us. And he said, oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If you got fuck you money, I think you guys would have made a movie like that. I was like,
I
wow.
gotta look that up. I'm not sure, but I will tell you, as a fan of your films, I definitely get that vibe, man. Like they are movies that are unbelievably fun, and I'm thinking about some of the lines from Only Fangs. You know, the killing's the best part. And I love that so much, and that line really sticks out to me. There's so much great dialogue in here, and so many great like one-liners. Or you know, I'm trying to keep this spoiler free, so I don't want to ruin too much. But you know, Christy Nightmare scene was just fantastic.
Yeah.
You guys do a really nice job of you know, of keeping it fun and keeping the vibe really campy but memorable, you know, in so many ways. So kudos to you guys. You know, you're really following in the footsteps of all those movies you love, and so yeah, keep it up. Yeah. So are you guys physical media people, or because you know, I think we connected over the VHS. And so that's kind of my deal, right? I'm a writer and I write middle grade horror fiction, but I'm also a big physical media collector. And so you know, over the years, I've been collecting for a long time. And over the years, my vibe has like really shifted to indie, right? Like I'm picking up everything I possibly can under the sun. As far as indie horror is concerned, I just love it. I love the vibe. I love the people that are attached to it. And the movies are fantastic, right? And like there's so much good horror out there that doesn't have a big budget and is just for me, and like you guys had said, is just fun, right? And rewatchable. And so that's kind of for me where something like Murder Size or Only Fangs come in. So you know, having the physical releases is so powerful to me. Especially in an age where it really, you know, releasing things digitally is usually the go-to method for a lot of studios, I would imagine, right? Because it's probably easier to get out there, probably, you know, I'm sorry?
It's cheaper,
right? So are you guys physical media people yourselves?
Definitely. I mean, obviously evidence, like you said, about the Murder Size VHS. We make our own VHS tapes, so I print out the covers, the labels, I dub them one by one, you know, just one VCR and a DVD player. So we put a lot of work into that. On the side of me right now, I don't move I don't move the camera, but there's like what you have behind you is like just rows and rows of DVDs and Blu-rays. So I'm literally sitting right next to all of our films. So yeah, we're big collectors, love DVD, Blu-ray still, obviously VHS, and we will continue to. I mean, it's just a big part of our lives, and it imparts, you know, our filmmaking, you know, and the movies that we use as touchstones when we're making our own movies, you know, we saw them first on VHS.
We still have our original copies of VHS tapes or DVDs that we grew up with that were our favorites, and we still have our like CD collections, and I still have little cassette tapes from when I was a little kid, like music on tapes that for whatever reason I could just never let go of them. I'm like, these, I used to play them out until the little tape popped out. And we've collected all that stuff, and that's physical media has just always been important to us, and that's why we've chosen to put all of our films on Blu-ray, on DVD, and VHS, when a lot of other filmmakers are like, that's such an expense and an undertaking to take on. But it's just something that the type of movie that we make, it feels like it's meant to be.
It's got to be.
It has to be on VHS or it has to be on DVD.
100%. And that's kind of like, again, when I was on the Etsy page, I think I was looking for a way to watch the film, right? And but I think what actually like got me to pull the trigger so quickly was seeing that VHS, right? Because you had it on the website, you didn't have it in stock. But or maybe you had the other movies on VHS and you didn't list Murder Size. So that's when I reached out to see if you had it. But as a physical media guy, right, like that was a big draw for me. So it makes me feel, it makes me feel good to know that the filmmakers of these movies are just fans, like me. So you guys get this from me.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
So hell yeah, appreciate you guys. Being, just being fans, etc. So let's get back to indie horror, because there seems to be this perfect storm, in my opinion, brewing for indie horror these days, right? Like I've seen it in a few different landscapes in a few different industries, but as far as filmmaking is concerned, right, with the emergence of streaming and social media and being able to get your work out there with so many different mediums, there's so many different talented labels like Mad Angel, Scream Team, SRS, Alternative Cinema, all these different labels that are kind of putting great stuff out there. And I think people are starved for good horror, and I think that there's this really interesting blend and perfect storm of indie horror right now and getting work out there. Can you guys talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think now more than ever, with the popularity of an explosion of social media, I mean, now more than ever, you can connect with other people, where we grew up in really small towns just in the middle of nowhere out in the country. So finding someone who had the same exact interest in you was kind of hard. It was pretty challenging. And we started making films right kind of in the early days of social media. So that was a really lucky thing for us to finally be able to connect with other people who had the same weird niche interests that we did. So a lot of our collaborators in the indie scene are not even from the state or even the country. So a lot of people that do music for our movies are not even in the United States. And a lot of the actors that we've collaborated in recent years, when we've been actually able to earn money through our crowdfunding, we've been able to fly dream actors that we want to work with, fly them into California to be in our projects. And I think that now more than ever, that there's the possibilities are endless of what you can dream up and accomplish in the indie scene, thanks to the internet. You're collaborating with a lot of podcasters this time around in Only Fangs, that we've gotten to include a lot of the fans and a lot of people that we've been on their podcast as guests in previous years. And all those contributions coming in from all around the United States and all around the world is just something that we never could have imagined when we first started making movies. So
I can't even tell you, one of my biggest regrets in recent life is not getting a part in Only Fangs. I know that was I think that was a perk, right? To get that. I should have done it. I regret it. So your next movie, okay, you better open that perk up for me.
I will.
We'll do it again.
I'll do it for sure. Just for
all right. I thought that was the coolest thing. I'm not going to get into that right now. We'll get into that in a little bit. But that what a wonderful love letter to your fans, and a great way to kind of include them in this project. And I agree. I think it's fascinating to me. And even going back to the Schoenberg thing, right? Like, I'm enamored by him. I'm such a fan of his work, and even you guys. I'm such a fan of your work, and it's kind of like beside me to be able to reach out, via a quick message. And, not everyone's as cool as you guys, because I've reached out to people and it's not always the same vibe. And that's cool too. So everyone is doing their own thing, and I respect that. But to be able to get a studio like you guys, who I'm such a fan of, to come on here with just a message, is just an unbelievable thing.
No, we're grateful as well, because who wants to talk to us?
I know
that's how we feel. We still feel that
exactly.
that humbleness, like we're nobodies.
We're nobody from nowhere, in the middle of nowhere. We never thought when we first started making movies that anyone besides our siblings and parents would watch our movies.
Right.
So the fact that our movies have continued to spread over the years, and anyone that says they're a fan, we're just like, what?
Yeah,
Oh, us?
it's
I,
still
I
Crazy.
I appreciate your humbleness, but you guys, I'm not worthy. Okay? I'm not worthy.
No,
Oh,
man.
wow.
No, that's why I make it a point. Like when you reach out to me or any other friends, Giovanni, he's a big supporter. I was just talking to him earlier today. Tons of other people. I can't even remember their names right now, but I make it a point to give my time and attention because we're so appreciative that you giving us your time and attention. It's like we don't take it for granted at all.
And we literally could
I
not do this without
No.
the support that we've been receiving from
Yeah.
people who have shared the links to our campaigns or streamed our movies on Tubi or Amazon or bought the physical media from our Etsy shop.
Right.
Literally every penny that we get from anything, it just all goes back into every movie that we make. And on top of it, we still put our own extra money. We still continue to add our own extra money on top just to try and make the best thing possible. We're always trying to grow and make our newest film better than the last one, if possible.
Well, it really shows because it's very clear that Only Fangs is your biggest production to date, right? I think the production quality, I think all of it really, you guys leveled up in so many ways with Only Fangs, and I have no doubt that fans are going to notice that immediately.
Yeah.
So there's been a big boom, not just in indie horror, but horror in general. And I'm a teacher, so I teach 7th grade, and I see it in my students every day. I think things like Stranger Things and Terrifier have like exploded the horror genre all over the place. And when I was younger, right, like I grew up on horror, and my dad took me to Fangoria conventions and stuff when I was a kid, so I was a kid that had a Michael Myers poster in my room, and I had a Friday the 13th poster, but not everyone had that, like now you can go to Abercrombie and Fitch and get like a Child's Play shirt,
Yeah,
so,
it's everywhere now.
That's like when I was a kid, Abercrombie and Fitch were like shirtless teenagers, like in the mall, like giving out like free samples of cologne. So it's we're definitely at a different era of horror. So do you guys, do you think that's played a role in how you guys have kind of come about this boom in horror?
I think so. I think the popularity is really just helping because people are more open to considering watching something than ever. I think streaming has just opened doors for people to take a chance. Like we were talking about earlier, we were kids of the video rental stores as well. And you have to be really selective about like, okay, what are we gonna rent? Because they'll only let you take out so many and you can only have them for so many days, and then you have to give them back. You don't own them. So you had to be really selective with what you watched. And I think now with the streaming, you can take a chance on thousands of possibilities out there. There's not only one streaming platform. There's so many. Even choosing what streaming platform you want to go to is a choice. And within those platforms, there's thousands and thousands of options of things to watch. So I think when people have watched the huge hits like Stranger Things, and then they're like, oh, I want to watch something else like that has like that vibe. I really like that. Totally. What was that feel? Was it 80s? Was it nostalgia? Like, what was that? So the newer generations that are coming up that didn't get to experience that time period or that lifestyle or that vibe, I think they're really curious about what that was like. And they're taking more chances on going back into older movies and streaming them, whereas maybe they wouldn't if it wasn't as easily accessible now, or as accessible as it back in the day. Now it's easy to access.
Yeah, and then just the movie industry just is going back to the old tactics that movies that teenagers are interested in. It's horror. It's horror right now. That's like the easiest thing that you can get someone involved or get to the movies, like ghost stories or demons or stuff like that. It's you have a 16-year-old niece and she's into Terrifier and Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and like, so it's like now and back then. So that's really cool to see that like more and more kids are into horror. That's how I identify horror as like a kids movie genre, at least for me. That's why even though our movies have, nudity in them or this and that, I still consider it a kids movie because I would have watched it as a kid. I mean, maybe I wouldn't recommend it. Kids are different nowadays, but back then, I was raised on it and it turned out all right.
I think you turned out great.
Yeah.
There might be one surprise little
what was that?
pair of boobs somewhere that your parents would be like, don't watch that.
Yeah, close your eyes.
Yeah. Well, Awesome. Really, really cool stuff. Thank you for that information. So I do want to get into Only Fangs, excuse me, but I have one more quick question. Is there any horror that like really scares you guys? Like what are the movies we talked about all these fun movies and that you guys like to have that fun vibe? But is there anything that like really scares you?
Anything with ghosts,
Okay.
like ghosts, like haunted house type stuff will scare me.
Yeah, I remember we went to watch Paranormal Activity with her and her mom and my sister. And my sister's a big horror fan. And all three of them were just completely shook afterwards. Like they couldn't go to sleep. They heard noises when they're in their room, and
Yeah,
we were
freaked out.
Yeah, I was like one of the first times I actually saw people in an audience all kind of revolt, like, oh my god, when they saw like the door open or something.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. To me, I thought it was fine. It didn't really scare me. But
Man, I saw Poltergeist as a kid, and oh my god, traumatized.
Right, Exorcist, things like that. Like I
still
can't get her to watch. Yeah, I can't get her to watch that one. So, but yeah, I think anything involving ghosts and demons and stuff, that's probably where, most people feel that way.
Totally. So for me, it was like anything that the Kyoto brothers did, practical effects wise. So like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, and Ernest Scared Stupid. The two of those are like on my Mount Rushmore of horror movies. Whatever it is about the Kyoto brothers, those special effects just like gave me nightmares to no end.
Wow.
But that and like real things, right? Like you ever see The Strangers?
Yeah. Yeah,
so
I did see that.
That movie also like terrified me to no end. I like the realness of it just like sits with me well. You know what I mean?
Right. Home invasion. Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Scary. Yeah.
So watch that. Scary.
So we want to get into Only Fangs. We're gonna take a quick 30-second break. When we get back, we're going to get into it. Only Fangs, spoiler free. So don't miss this. We'll be right back. All right, we are back, and we're ready to start talking about Only Fangs, which is your brand new film. It is out there. It is available via streaming, soon to be on physical media releases. So, I think what better way to kind of introduce the movie than with the trailer, right? So let's do this. Let's show the trailer, and then we'll get into it. So, if you guys know nothing about the movie, check this out.
We are the Monster Boys!
You gotta find a new conspiracy, bro. There's no such thing as monsters.
I don't care what you say. I'm gonna find that fucking monster.
Wes, where are you?
Hello?
What's happening?
Hey, man. Are you alright?
Wes!
I saw a monster. Hissed at me and dead eyes and sharp teeth. And I got it all on video.
Scarlet! And this guy saw me in the park and he got away.
We'll fucking get him. Nobody will ever hurt us again.
Never again.
Where are you going, Wes?
Oh, shit! Oh, my God. You guys are fucking vampires? Awesome!
Awesome?
I have loved monsters my entire life.
you could be making so much money. You get bit by a real-life vampire. Dudes will pay big bucks for that. I can design a website and an app. Then me and my friends will take photos of you guys, make sexy videos, and we'll just wait for the subscribers to come rolling in.
You sold me, Wes. But I'm gonna tell you this. Don't fuck with me, or else I'm gonna fuck up your whole fucking life. You got it?
We don't even know these people. They could be psychos and kill us.
Dude, relax. They already promised not to kill us, right?
No killing? That's the best part!
Do we have a name for the app yet?
Yes, we do. I was thinking, Only Fangs. Only Fangs.
Only Fangs?
Only Fangs.
Only Fangs.
Only Fangs.
You guys check out that Only Fangs yet?
Only Fangs.
Are you guys the Only Fangs fans? This is happening.
We are the Monster Boys.
You gotta.
I had it on loop. Sorry about that.
No
But hell
problem.
yeah.
Oh man, so cool. It brings back memories of me cutting it together.
Is it
It's fun.
surreal to see it, like
Yeah.
being shown on like a podcast right now?
Yeah, I was like,
It's
whoa.
weird. It's like, oh yeah, that's what we were doing all year.
Now, how long ago did you guys, I guess, like do the trailer? Like when was that ready?
We did a first trailer last year.
Mhm.
Right after we shot a bulk of the film, we released
Yeah.
the big trailer. What month was that? Like October?
Like this, the teaser trailer was last year, I think in October, and then this one right here that we just played the official trailer, I believe that was in April. I
More
believe.
recent.
Cool.
Yeah.
You guys kind of see the vibe of the movie. You kind of see the premise. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about, what it's about, what this movie brings to the table, and then we'll get into some of the other stuff?
Yeah. So Only Fangs is about, as you can see, an app created called Only Fangs, where fans can meet vampires and connect with them, and they can experience the real vampire experience. And that's put together by these group of vampire girls and this amateur monster hunter, Wes, played by Drew Marvick. They join forces so they can turn all their turn all their victims into paying customers.
So I love the premise of the movie. I think it's brilliant. I think it's so smart. I think it's so current. I think it's so meta, right? Like I think there's so much here that I just love. Especially the idea that there's scenes where they're kind of going through the montage of people getting bit from the app and yada yada, and people just don't believe that vampires are real still, right? Like I love that so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was something we wanted to play around with, like, oh yeah, I felt like they were really biting me, stuff like that.
Yeah, that was a line I had in my notes. They actually bit me. Can you believe it? And I don't even believe, or I don't know how they did it. They bit me.
Yeah. Exactly.
I thought that was very cool and very current because people don't believe what's right in front of them, right? Especially in the age of the internet when they're reading and seeing all these different things that it's hard to decipher kind of what's real and what's not. And you have these vampires right in front of these people that are biting them, and they're like, vampires can't be real, right?
Exactly.
They still think that they're cosplaying as vampires, and they're like, "That's cool, I'll take it." I just want
right.
experience.
I love that. So let's talk about the cast a little bit because you guys do you have recurring characters, recurring actor, a group of recurring actors and actresses in some of your movies. So I'd be remiss if I didn't start with Nina Kent, even though my heart's with Jessica Flux. I have to start with Nina Kent because she just exudes aura here as Scarlet, the head vampiress whose goal and desire to be a master. And her lust for blood kind of drives her in this movie. And she was fantastic. I really can't say enough how much I enjoyed her in this film. I'm sorry?
Oh, we love
We
her.
love her.
We love Nina.
Yeah, she was fantastic. What was it like kind of working with her? Is she like she is on camera?
She's incredible. So she is
Yeah.
one of the most realist, kindest,
Most genuine.
and funny people I've ever met. I consider her like family to
Yeah,
me at this
She's
point.
definitely a fan.
I mean, she's the kindest person. She's so strong and so funny and just down to earth. And I think it's obvious we love working with her. This is, I think, our fourth film together.
Yeah.
Our fourth film.
And she's a badass. you
She's a
know?
badass.
Oh,
Like she
yeah.
can
Oh,
really
icon.
beat your ass. So
Yeah.
don't mess with her in real
She's
life.
tough. So
All right.
yeah, that role was
Not
that role was
gonna draw
written-
this with
Yeah.
Nina.
But she's super sweet though. She's actually from our hometown, and
Oh, wow.
we met her through another actor from a different movie that connected us with her, and they were like, "I think you would like her. I think you guys should put her in movies," even though she had never acted prior to working with us.
Interesting.
Once we met her. Her personality, she just has such a strong and unique personality that we're like, oh, she'd be perfect.
Yeah, and I think we have a good eye for talent, like raw talent, people that like are not trained or took classes or anything like that.
Yeah.
And we were right. I mean, she just brings her personality or charisma to these roles, and she's grown a lot since the very, very first thing we've done. And we trusted her with this huge role. And we just had lunch with her yesterday, coincidentally, and we were talking about it. And she was just like so proud of herself as much as we're proud of her for taking on this role and just absolutely killing it.
Yes, her modeling career has taken off, and her acting now career is open doors. The previous movie she's done now is opening doors for her. But she's, I mean, she's pledged allegiance to us unprovoked. We're not asking that. She's free to work with whoever she wants, but she's like, no, I'm only comfortable doing this with you. Even now, after all these films, she's like, I'm not an actor. I'm not really an actor. And we're like, you are though. You are. And she stars in this, and she absolutely killed it. So clearly she's an actress.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love that you're kind of like empowering her, right? Like to do this, because she was phenomenal. And, you know, any doubt that she has, you know, throw it out the window, because she crushed it. She crushed the role. I thought she was a wonderful pick for that lead part, as the vampiress and the lead vampire, you know, of I guess our protagonists in the story.
Yeah.
I guess, right? Like
anti-heroes, I guess.
Anti-heroes.
Yeah, there was a lot of people interested in that role when we first were talking about the story. But even from the first inception of it, we wrote it with her in mind. We always knew from the beginning, we're like, this is written for her.
Yes.
And it's written in her voice. That's very similar to how she is in real life. She's a strong entrepreneur, goal-oriented, hustler, ambitious, hardworking woman. So she's
amazing.
great.
Well, I think she was a wonderful choice. I loved her in this role. I think she did a wonderful job. Let's move on to Kansas Bowling, because she's an interesting character in both Murder Size and Only Fangs, and she's kind of like an interesting, you know, kind of dichotomy or balance between some of the other actresses that you use. You know, you guys kind of picture as like this girl next door in so many ways.
Yeah.
You know, in both Murder Size and Only Fangs, yet she's actually this like lovable little like firecracker in some ways, you know, who's actually like violent and murderous. And so I think she's such a, not just a wonderful actress, but I think she, you know, you guys cast her in really interesting roles that fit her really well. She's just kind of like blonde pixie who you know, is very kind of like this firecracker. And you have that one scene in the trailer we just saw where her, you know, she just bit someone, and she's not necessarily as innocent as you might think in either of these movies. So tell me what it's like working with Kansas. She was fantastic.
Oh yeah, it was great working with her on Murder Size. The first time we met her, I've known about her previously because I knew about her work as a director. And then I saw that she was doing some acting roles in like other friends' movies that I was aware of. So when we were looking for a lead actress for Murder Size, and we needed one desperately because we had one casted, but she had to drop out, I just asked her, and she loved the script. She thought it was funny. She came to our set, got along really well with our other film family, and just got along together with us, our sense of humor, and kind of what we're going for. And she's, you know, she understands the assignment, you know, so she brought it with Murder Size, like you said, going from the innocent little, you know, do-gooder, girl next door, Girl Scout, to you know, chainsaw wielding, you know, psycho, so it was perfect. It was perfect. And she wanted, so she was so good. I didn't know how good she was until we saw it. And I was like, wow, she really went above and beyond. Like, it was great. So when Only Fangs came around, she wanted to read the script, and I didn't think maybe she would fit in that. And actually, it makes perfect sense because the other girls are, kind of more goth, and she sticks out because she's the blonde pixie, like you said. So it's like, oh, that's perfect. Like, I didn't even realize like the difference, the contrast between them, and how well it would play. And we just leaned into that. Her being, smaller, shorter than them. She's like the young little rookie that's with them. It just ended up being perfect to have her with this group of girls.
The perfect pop princess of the group. So it was really fun to make her character the more poppy pink, the one that wears glitzy, shimmery.
The sweet one.
She's a little more sweet. She does get involved in the killings as well, but she's a little more timid than the rest of the group. She's still kind of learning as they take her under their wing. And
I like that, and I like that in Only Fangs. There's definitely some character depth, right? Like, even though this is indie horror, and typically in an indie horror movie, right, it's very shallow, right? You don't have these backstories or these like deep character narratives, but in this one you do, right? There is some backstory here. It's campy and it's fun, but there is some backstory and there's some depth to these characters. And so I appreciated that about Only Fangs,
Oh, thank you. Thank you for noticing.
Yeah, of course. So there's one more actress I want to talk about before I give some shout outs to the whole cast, but I have to talk about Jessa for a second. Because, she plays Gwen in this movie. Yes. And like I mentioned, Jessa is the reason I kind of found you guys to begin with. I saw her in Cannibal Hookers. Debbie does Demons, and I was just into her vibe. I think she's magnificent. I think she glows aura, and I think she has such captivating energy just from seeing her on the screen. And this as well, just like with Kansas, this was kind of a little bit of a different role for Jessa as well. You guys kind of casted her not as the head bitch this time, right? Like, which is typically like a Jessa thing, right? Like a very busty head bitch, head cheerleader kind of vibe. Yes. But in Only Fangs, she was kind of this like nerdy, geeky, character. She was a third of the Monster Boys. She wore very non-revealing clothes, which is not really her swag, not really her style. So, what was it like working with her on this project? And you just also, I want to make one note. Even though she was in this role and it was different, you knew she was going to turn at some point, right? You knew. I'm trying not to like spoil much, but you knew she had to come out of her shell at some point, because just knowing her from her films, like, she just wasn't. There wasn't going to be a film where she wasn't kind of going to go and do her thing. And beat Jessa. So I love that foreshadowing. I think you guys did a wonderful job of kind of placing her in that role where like her fans are going to know that like it's coming, right? That she's going to kind of bust out of her shell. But what was it like working with her on this film?
She has a signature style for sure. So everybody knows when you watch Jessa, you're going to get Jessa.
Yeah, she has admitted that usually she plays like these bimbo roles, which she says she loves, but that's usually what she's casted on.
Right. And when we pitched her the character and she read the script, she actually had questioned being a different character because she's like, I don't know, the tomboy nerd kind of, it feels a little not what I'm used to playing. And we're like, but we really think that you would crush that because it's so unexpected for people that are fans of hers already. And she was definitely open to the challenge. And I mean, she's a real actress. So she was definitely open to it. She's like, obviously I'll do whatever role you guys feel for me. I just feel like it's just out of my wheelhouse of what I'm used to doing.
And also we found out later, it's kind of because that's kind of how she is in real life. She said that that's kind of what scared her, that it was made her vulnerable because like, well, this is like kind of me.
Yeah, just like a chill girl that's just chipping away at her day and working hard and mind her own business. And she's like, that's just kind of how I am. And it's weird to play someone that very close to me that's just chilling in jeans and being comfortable on a day-to-day basis. So that, I mean, we love working with her. I mean, we constantly call her the hardest working woman in indie film.
She works her tail off. That is very clear. If you follow her on social media, if you're, kind of keeping track and keeping tabs on her career, she works her tail off.
Oh,
She
yes.
does. I mean, she's committed. If she's not working, she's in classes. I mean, she's constantly learning some new skill and technique, whether it's like comedy, or I saw that she was getting into
Clown.
clowning, and she does dance classes and she takes acting classes. And I mean, she's constantly working on herself and her different skill sets. So what I mean, that's so admirable to us. I mean, working with her on Murder Size was a dream. She was fantastic in Murder Size, so it was just a no-brainer that we wanted her back for Only Fangs, and we were just happy that she was willing to take a chance on playing Gwen.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to see her be Drew's sister because their chemistry together, we already knew what their chemistry was like from Murder Size, and we knew that them being together as brother and sister would be really funny.
Yeah, we had to. We had to
Drew
do
was
it.
fantastic. Also, I love him, and I love him in this movie. You know, and I made a note of this, but you know, he's fantastic, but he's also a kind of lovable character, right?
Yeah.
He's a very lovable, kind of nerdy, easygoing. And I think it's so interesting that you guys have the females in this movie be so empowered, you know, and so powerful. And I love that. And then you kind of have the males as like these kind of easygoing. They play in each other really well. And I thought Drew did a fantastic job. With that, I want to give a quick shout out. Also, if you, Jessa, if you happen to watch this, we love you. I love you. Thank you for being awesome. I'm a big fan of yours. Keep working hard. You're doing amazing things.
And also, I want to say that, you know, Jessa, you mentioned she does break out of her shell later in the movie. We wanted a scene to rival her scene with Drew in Murder Size, and she has a scene with Little Puck later in the movie that we hoped will, you know,
make an
exceed.
impression.
Yeah. So if you want interested in the movie, definitely check out for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that Murder Size scene was fantastic. It was one of the first things I was like, okay, I'm into this vibe. You know, I really I dig A&P. You know, it's over the top to say the least, but I think that it works so well. And again, I think the scene you know, in Only Fangs is a little more subtle, but it works really well. And I think that I'm sorry, the actress's name is not coming to me. Little Puck. Yeah, is it Little Puck?
Yeah.
I think her facial expressions and her kind of reactions were fantastic. I think I really enjoyed her in this movie, even though it's a minor part. She did wonderful. So a lot of really great stuff. I want to give a quick shout out to some other cast members. We have Drew Marvick, Ellie Church, BB Bardot, Adriana Uchishiba, and of course, amazing cameos from people. You know, we have Ginger Lynn, Christine Nightmare, whose scene was fantastic as well, like I mentioned earlier. Not to spoil anything, and so many others. So if I didn't mention your name, you guys did a phenomenal job. So great job on the casting as always.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's keep it cruising here. You know, I mentioned that the females are really powerful leads in this movie, and one of the scenes early on, I believe it's Scarlett who makes it clear to Kansas's character that they have these rules for being vampires, right? And one of them is not to get attached to men. And I think there's so many great messages in this movie, but women empowerment is definitely at the forefront of that. It's definitely one of them. And so, like I mentioned earlier, I love that you guys have such strong female leads. So can you tell me a little bit about that? And again, not to get anything away from Wes, because I think Wes did a wonderful job. But you know, the leads are very powerful in this. So you know, talk to me a little bit about that. Was that intentional? You know.
Absolutely. So I think if you would go back to our earliest films, I mean, probably starting with Streets of Vengeance, you would see that one of our key cornerstones of our work is female empowerment. So we obviously, as a team of man and woman, I'm definitely bringing a female perspective to everything that we write and everything that we make. And to Paul's credit, he's such a great listener. So he's always around and listening to conversations that I'm having with my sister or my friends or even other actresses on set. And he's very curious about a female perspective on experiences in life. And that curiosity has really opened doors for his creativity in writing. So he writes things in a true way where, no offense to a lot of dudes out there, but in the indie scene, I've seen a lot of movies where the women are just there. They make a quick appearance to be bitchy and scream and die. And there's not really any depth of characters there. There's not really a respect either of women. Not that that's what they're for. That's kind of like the trope. I just totally understand that. But we do want to bring some more depth, especially like we were talking about earlier. Horror is becoming such a popular genre where a lot of women are now really huge horror fans
and horror stars.
And we want to throw our hat in there and give more depth to the characters that we write. And from our early days, we've always been super interested in strong female characters that have something to say. They have something to do, they have something to prove, and they're the star of our shows.
There was a female fan who watched the movie and she loved it, and she said, I'm making Only Fangs my whole personality. Like being a vampire and being badass and all that stuff. I was like, oh, wow, cool. Inspired some people.
I love that. And I think it's so cool because, listen, people identify in different ways, right? I think there are, a lot of fans that do like to kind of do these cosplays or even, kind of get into the vibe every day of vampirism and live that lifestyle. And I think it's really cool to have a movie that kind of like empowers that in some ways. I think that we all kind of want to be a vampire in some ways, right? Like,
actually, I did try to reach out to the vampire community online, a few of them.
Oh, did you?
And put Only Fangs in there, and some were receptive, some were just like, no, like vampires are serious to me.
This is not fun.
That's so hilarious. It's a little bit of that.
That's great.
It's a new take.
That's really funny, actually. So, on the topic of vampirism, let's talk about the rules in this movie because, also we are at basically the 1 hour mark. So we're gonna wrap things up shortly. We have a few more things I want to get to, but thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. Be sure to hit that like button. Make sure you guys share this video if you are fans of the channel, if you're fans of A&P Films. But we have a few more things here I want to go over. So, I want to talk a little bit about the rules of vampirism in this movie because they are a little different, as far as I'm concerned. A little different than kind of your traditional vampires, which I really don't. You guys kind of made your own rules as far as being a vampire and what a vampire means, especially when it comes to, the typical you get bit, you turn into a vampire. That just, doesn't really happen in the same way in this film, right? You guys kind of, you did it your own way. And so can you guys talk to me a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, love to, because I've been waiting for this because I knew it would come up because in horror fans, I'm same thing. I'm a horror fan, so a lot of vampire movies I researched while doing this, and basically you find out that pretty much every movie you do come up with your own lore. And so I was like, well, since the rules are very flexible, let me take out some things that I don't really like and add some stuff. So rule number one was the sunlight, just bursting into flames. I just feel like it's a contrivance, it's very convenient. But when you at the end of the movie and you're about to get killed by the vampire, just busts open a window and sunlight comes in and they blow up. So, and that's fine, that's great. But I really didn't want that in this one. If anything, I kind of wanted the world to be that is full of vampires and they do blend in with society, and the whole sunlight, go out at night, or holy water, or no reflection was just kind of propaganda that's just kind of put out there. So you don't know that you're next to a vampire. You think, well, he's not a vampire, he has a reflection. And then that's when they get you. So that's what kind of wanted this world to be, that they would blend in society, that they would not have so much, differences that you could easily tell who they are, which makes them more dangerous and more easily to get their prey. So I wanted that first and foremost. And also the thing like what they're being able to appear on camera. I did find a couple of threads where people were debating whether or not they could appear on video and whether or not silver was used in videotape or in cameras, or there's no mirrors in the camera, stuff like that. So it's a lot of debate.
Back to the vampirism chats. Maybe they could have helped you out with what works for
exactly.
them. how.
Exactly. And people take it very, very seriously, I was like, and I try to respect that. And I did, but I just try to have an explanation that, it's propaganda. The movies those are movies, but this is real life. I think I had a character say that, like, what do you mean? This is real life. Of course you can see us. What are you talking about? So we did try to play with that. And we wanted it to like I said, take a comedic approach to it, that there was a difference between movies and reality, which is, you know, in the movie.
And also kind of make it fun of the notion that maybe vampires are real. Like maybe
Right.
they are out there and they just look kind of normal and we don't really know it.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what the approach we were trying to go for.
It's just a fun fantasy to play into.
I love that. Now you got me thinking. Like I'm gonna go to work tomorrow and like be looking at like all the people I work with. So I think that's really cool. So you know, excellent job, kind of creating your own vibe with the vampires, because this is not your typical vampire movie. It's fun. It's different. The rules are different. And I love that you guys kind of took this as your own. And you know, typically in vampire movies, right, like the main characters, like it is not typically looked at. You know, there is a lust factor involved, and it's not always the case, but typically you're running from the vampire, right? Like you don't want to get bit by a vampire. That is a bad thing. But in your movie, that's not the vibe at all, right? Like you have this whole slew of people that are just dying, no pun intended, to get bit by a vampire, and I love that about your film.
Thank you. I mean, that's the fun of it, you know. It's like, oh, let's make it fun, and people just getting excited about it, and it feels good, and there's like a high to it, you know?
Well, we're playing into the popularity of horror and vampires, and I think if that was a real app today, I think they definitely would blow up in popularity. If there was beautiful people that were dressing up as vampires and willing to bite you and pretend into this whole experience, I think it absolutely would gain popularity. So we're like, oh, let's just make that into a movie, except the customers don't know that they are real vampires.
Right. Yeah.
So I think we several people are like, so are you going to make the app now? Because we want it. We want to be bitten by anybody that's in the movie.
We're interested in money. Yeah, we definitely do.
We should.
So what do you think? We think we can get a real Only Fangs sometime in the future?
We got to start the paperwork.
I know.
You guys are gonna start a $1 billion empire here. This is like, it started out as movie, turned biggest app in the world.
I know. Oh like, man, we gotta cash out.
Yeah. Wow.
Cool. Okay, so there's a couple other things here. I want to talk about kind of the message of the film, because I spoke earlier about kind of women empowerment, but there's a few other things that really stood out to me. As far as, you know, what the messages of the film are. Also, John, how we doing? We have John just dropped a comment, so thank you for being here, John. We have Angie and Paul in the house.
What's up,
John? Hey.
Appreciate you being here. If you have any questions for Angie and Paul while we wrap up here, please feel free to drop them, and they can answer them for you. So yeah, I mean, there's a few things that really stand out to me as far as, you know, the overall messages or the theme of this movie. So first of all, you know, as it pertains to social media, I think there's such a clear message, right, of do what you love, right? Go for what you believe in. Never listen to the haters, right? Like, be you, do you, fuck the rest. I think that's very clear in this movie. And then also, as it pertains to like the difficulties of real life and the corporate world and the 9 to 5, and how that is kind of like the real monster in this world, right? And I thought that was wonderful. So can you guys talk a little bit about kind of the overall theme or message here that you guys were shooting for?
Yeah. I mean, Jessa's character may or may not be loosely based on a lot of my real experiences. So when in the beginning, when she's complaining about, like, I want to have my own thing and I want to do stuff, but I'm so tired because I'm working and I have no time to do anything because I'm tired and I'm always working. And
I think she wore this jacket.
Oh yeah, Jessa wore this in the movie. This is
cool.
Lent her some of my personal wardrobe for the film, so she's wearing some of my clothes in the movie. Actually,
you gotta like eBay that for like
so
being worn.
Yeah, exactly. So we definitely are writing based off of real feelings and experiences. I think everyone can relate to the idea of like, okay, if I didn't have to work, like, of course I wouldn't. I'd rather be doing fun things and exploring and being creative and being curious and finding what I'm passionate about and having time to explore that and devote my time to that. And, you know, especially there's so much conversations to be had about earning and income and how much is enough to just get by, how much is enough to be happy, and at what expense, at what price does it come? Are you even having the time and energy in life to do things with the money that you're earning? Or are you just living to work and working to live. So there's just a lot of thought there. That was something in the last year or so that Paul and I were having a lot of conversations about that in our personal lives, and also with friends that were experiencing the same thing of like, we have so many things we want to pursue. Exactly. I know plenty of people that we all have interests and things that we want to pursue. And it's like trying to juggle, finding the time to squeeze all those things in. And if you are a parent and you have families, and gets even more challenging because it's very expensive to raise families, and it takes a lot of time and energy and juggling all those things with a full-time job. So playing with the idea of, what if you don't have to do that? What if you created your own thing and you stick it to the man and you say, fuck that, I'm going to start my own thing. We're going to create our own empire. We're going to take back the control, and we're going to have people, we're going to create something so interesting that people will pay us to do what we love, which is dress up and be strong and be beautiful and bite people.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the lines in there, be the one that feeds and not the one that bleeds. I use the vampire as, like a metaphor for that kind of thing, sucking blood, and everything eats off of someone else, like, well, now it's your turn not to be the one that's being parasite, someone's not sucking on you, it's like, it's all those things we try to put in there. And even like Scarlet, like, being a rebel at first, but then dangerously getting close to becoming just like her former master, and that was Reese's Kansas's character's concern. So it's a lot of that stuff I wanted to put in there, exploitation of women, the character named Harvey, I mean, he's like the main villain, is obviously inspired by Harvey Weinstein, some Jeffrey Epstein stuff, and that kind of came from a conversation that Quentin Tarantino had on a podcast, and they were talking about Harvey Weinstein and how they knew what he was doing, but they kind of just like, looked past or whatever. And he said like, well, he said a phrase that he would bring a woman into his limousine and that's where he would put the bite on. I was like, oh, perfect. I was like, that just like a light bulb in my head. I was like, yes, vampire involved in the music industry or the movie industry, modeling industry, that's where they would be. So that was like the catalyst for that.
It's really cool to hear, the creative behind some of your decisions. I really appreciate that as a writer, hearing these everyday things that can inspire you for your writing or for a scene or for a character or whatever the case might be. So lastly, I want to show everyone how they can access your films, because you have an Etsy shop, and that's kind of how I discovered and bought your films. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna share my screen real quick, just to kind of give everyone an idea of what your Etsy page looks like. So let's do this. Let's share screen. So if you guys are interested in buying any of the films now, Murder Size is not Only Fangs is not out for a physical media release yet, but you will be making it open to the public, right?
Yes. In about a month, we'll have the physical release, and we'll have it on our store, and all of our backers will get their copy shipped out.
Yeah.
Cool. So if you guys want to, kind of pick up any of their other films, which they have 4 other films that are currently out on physical media or streaming, but you can check them out at AP Films on Etsy. And you can kind of pick these up. They have a 4-pack for $50. I mean, you cannot beat that. Blu-ray, again, you can't beat 4 Blu-rays for $50. And then they do have the DVDs, which I gotta talk to you guys after, because I really want the DVDs also.
Cool.
Yeah, so we'll have to touch base.
Yeah.
But you get the DVDs, you can get the Blu-rays, you can get posters. Also, I gotta thank you guys for sending me the candy Jeff the poster from Murder Size. I got to get that framed. Awesome. But you guys can kind of go check out their page, see what's available, see what you might want. But that's kind of how they roll as far as the physical media things are concerned. Now, tell us a little bit about Only Fangs and how people can watch it. So after they watch this stream, they can go and watch this film, because it deserves all the love and it deserves to be seen by horror fans all over. So how can we watch this movie?
Oh, thank you. So right now we just had the world premiere last Saturday. So we made, for limited time, the digital download link available for fans. It's just a PayPal link, and I just send it straight to your email, and you're able to watch it on Vimeo, and that's been going great right now. And while we work on the physical media release, and streaming won't probably be like Tubi and Amazon Prime. That won't probably be until like maybe early next year, probably January or so, while we work on the physical media. But for now, if you can't wait, I would just download the digital download link, and it's only like $15, and you can just hit us up on Facebook or Instagram, and I can send that to you.
We're finishing the Blu-rays, so we want to add a couple special features to that.
Ooh,
and we're finalizing all the nitty-gritty and the paperwork and the production of getting those made. So in the meantime, while those are being finalized, then people have been asking, they're like, okay, but the movie's done because there was a premiere, so how do we watch it? And people want it to be streaming, and it's like, yeah, of course we do want to stream it for sure, but there is a process of getting it approved and going through the channels and
all the QC and stuff.
So it takes a while for that to go through. But in the meantime, for people who are like, I don't want to wait for that, I can't wait for 2 months, they can buy the link. They can just buy the link directly from us, and then that for anyone who cares, that funds will go directly to the creators of the movie, and you're not cutting in a streaming platform. So that's just money that we use to do the finishing costs and ordering all the Blu-rays and all that stuff. So if anyone's interested in that angle of aspect of that, there's that. So you can definitely get the link from us directly.
Direct support.
To support the artist directly.
Oh yeah. Listen, this movie has my unbelievable stamp of approval. It is so worth your time. It is so fantastic. I think it is an immediate, campy cult classic that you're all gonna love. So I recommend grabbing that digital code as soon as you guys can, and then also grabbing yourself a physical copy, whatever it is that your preference, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, VHS, whatever it is, so you have it forever. And so, there you have it. So A&P Films, Paul and Angie, I can't thank you guys enough for being here today. It's such an honor that this is the very first interview that you guys did for the movie. I will cherish this time we spent together. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Go check them out. Anything else you guys want to drop? I'll link your socials down below and some other things below. Anything else you want to leave the fans with?
This is our biggest movie yet, and we're so proud of everyone that worked on it. And it was a huge mountain to climb. So to have this positive reception and feedback is just very overwhelming. Thank you for having us on your show. Like I said, first one to talk to us post Only Fangs premiere, and we're gonna be doing a lot more, but this one was our first time actually speaking about it. So we just very grateful to have a platform to talk about our art and our films, and we're so grateful for people that support us and like it.
Exactly. Only Fangs is our love letter to fans of nostalgia, fans of the 80s style, the 90s style, the over-the-top, campy, fun, gory, just fun film. And we tried our best and gave it everything we could to make it a fun time. So this is our love letter to the indie film community, and we just hope people have a good time with it.
And thank you.
And thank you.
Yeah, so there you have it, guys. You guys are wonderful. Thank you again. So I'll drop their socials and everything below, and thank you guys for hanging out. Be sure to like the video, and we'll catch y'all later.
See ya.